From Shame Pinata, I'm Colleen Thomas. This is Everyday Magic for Ukraine. Today we center Ukrainian media voices. Welcome to the Circle. Welcome to Everyday Magic for Ukraine, where we honor Ukraine and also practice self-care to stay strong as allies. If you're new here, welcome. So every time we get together, I ask you to source or bring with you, or maybe even imagine, an object. And why do I do that? I do that because when we can touch something, when we can hold something, when we can focus on something visually, mentally, it can help us work our magic in an even stronger and more focused way. So the item that I would love for you to source today, you're probably already using, and it's your headphones. But before we get into that piece, before we get into our intention, let's do what we always do and take a moment to come fully present in this moment. Is there some way that your body would like to be greeted through motion? Just really simple, just really gentle, just to kind of wake up your synapses and your cells. Remembering you are all one amazing, beautiful person with your muscles and your bones and your brain and your skin and your spirit and your heart. You're all one beautiful, complex, and amazing being. And perhaps we can finish this moment of grounding and coming into the body by placing a hand on your heart and another hand on your belly. If this works for your body, if this feels good to you, and just taking another breath. So now that we're together in our circle and you have your headphones with you, I would like to take this moment to tell you, to share with you about my favorite sources of Ukrainian media voices. The first one is the Kyiv Independent. I actually decided to become a member of the Kyiv Independent community pretty early on after discovering their work, because the things I was reading, the podcast I was listening to, which was called This Week in Ukraine, it's not going now, but it was a really good resource for a long time. Everything I heard and everything I read just felt really raw and really clear, and it really gave me a view into what was happening in, day to day in Ukraine. There's a daily email, there's a weekly email. There are so many benefits, and each one of them helps me feel like I'm really there and I'm really part of the people who are leaning in and paying attention. Every so often there's a member Q&A with the editor-in-chief, and it was at one of those that I asked a question, something along the lines of, some of us are learning Ukrainian, can we be of any support to you and your team? And she responded actually by saying, actually, that's great, and what we're going to offer you are weekly group Ukrainian lessons. And that started shortly after that call. It's been going on for a while now. Every week, there's a chance to participate in this group Ukrainian lesson with a wonderful tutor. And that only increases the sense of community as we have all these non-native Ukrainian speakers from all around the world having conversations. I've been in those lessons in a chat room with somebody who maybe speaks Dutch or German, and I speak English, but we're both learning Ukrainian, and we're able to try to communicate through this new tongue we're learning. So just something to think about. Explore the Kyiv Independent. Probably the best place to go besides KyivIndependent.com is their YouTube page. So you can see the reporting, including the amazing work by Francis Farrell, who just recently got to go to the actual zero line, the actual front line. So I could say so much more about the Kyiv Independent, but I'll leave it there and let you explore for yourself. So the second Ukrainian media voice I'd like to share with you and get on your radar is a podcast called Explaining Ukraine. Explaining Ukraine is produced by the folks at Ukraine World, which is ukraineworld.org. Ukraine World produces media in various languages for folks to understand more about Ukraine. They produce their work in English, French, Spanish, German, and Italian. And their goal is to explain Ukraine, politics, culture, history, and the struggle to those of us living around the world who don't already have a connection or who want to build more of a connection. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. Look for that one online, Explaining Ukraine. You can find that on your favorite podcast player. And I'd like to speak about one more Ukrainian media voice. This is actually an American who is in Ukraine hosting, but he's in Ukraine and he lives in Ukraine and he has a lot of Ukrainian guests. This is a podcast called Ukraine Calling with Brian Bonner. It's a production of Romadsky Radio. The website says, Brian Bonner, a seasoned American journalist with extensive experience in Ukraine. Join Brian as he engages in insightful interviews with top newsmakers and fascinating individuals who have captivating stories to share. So these are all voices for you to dive into, research, maybe try out, see if they're interesting to you. I'll link them all in the show notes so you can find them easily. And so my invitation to you today is to do our magic in two parts. The first part will be while we are together, placing these people in the center of the circle and sending them love, sending them protection, sending them whatever they need to continue their work and to be safe and to be living freely and fully. The second part of this work will be after our circle has completed today. If you feel called, go to one of those sources and just listen. And while you're listening, allow yourself to become aware that there are most likely other things going on. There are power cuts. Places have power for only 2-hour chunks right now in some places. So how does that affect recording? How does that affect using the equipment, getting the internet, getting stuff produced, getting stuff put out? I do not know how people are doing live radio right now. That is beyond me, other than generators. It's just beyond me. And then also know that there could be air alarms, there could be air raids, there could be bombings nearby. There are so many things happening. And people showing up for their daily jobs have other people they know who maybe they're okay, maybe they're at work doing okay, having a good day, but, you know, another family member in another town might have just been through something very scary. There's so much happening right now. So if you do listen, while you listen, just know that there is probably a lot of stuff going on in the background that is hidden from view because they don't want you to know it's happening, but it is. So let's close our circle by just, again, putting these beautiful people in the center and sending them our love, asking their guides, guardians, angels, whoever's watching over them, to pay extra attention to them, keep them extra safe, help them be extra resourced, help them have what they need, or help them have the patience they need to deal with not having what they need, help them have mental health, mental clarity, help them be in contact with the people they love. Renew their spirits. And if possible, let them know energetically that we are here and we are listening and we care. We are leaning in. We are grateful. May it be so. Thank you so much for being with us today. Your presence, your energy, and your heart make all the difference in healing our world. Remember to breathe today. Breathe and expand. And I hope you join us again next time. And please consider inviting a friend. As you know, magic works best with action. Check the show notes for a list of creative ways to support Ukraine. You can find our list of Ukrainian Voices resources on that list. Our music is by Terry Hughes. I'm Colleen Thomas. Thanks for listening.